America just witnessed a storm unlike any other, one that didn't tear through with wind or rain.
Federal Drug Enforcement Administration says a week-long cartel crackdown led to nearly 200 arrests just in New England. The DEA says they were all members of the Sinaloa cartel, the largest drug cartel in the world.
But with flashing badges, helicopters, and sirens echoing through quiet New England towns. This was no border raid. It happened right in Boston's backyard.
DEA says it's cracking down on a major drug syndicate at work in New England, the Sinaloa cartel. In the last week, agents arrested more than 171 people in New England. The DEA seized 500-plus pounds of methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl.
In a massive, coordinated strike, the DEA and ICE joined forces in what officials are calling one of the biggest cartel takedowns in recent history. More than 500 pounds of deadly narcotics, dozens of guns, stacks of cash, and over 170 arrests, all linked to the infamous Sinaloa cartel, one of the world's most powerful and feared drug empires. But this story isn't just about numbers or drugs. It's about how a criminal network from Mexico burrowed deep into small American towns, and how federal agents, after years of tracking and patience, finally stormed their operation. It all started with quiet suspicion. Investigators in New England began noticing something strange: spikes in fentanyl overdoses in areas that had never seen that kind of drug activity before. The patterns didn't fit local dealers. The quantities were too large. The drugs are too pure. And the deliveries? Too fast. Orders were being placed on phones, deliveries arriving like Amazon packages. Teenagers, professionals, even parents, all unknowingly connecting to the cartel through apps they used every day. DEA analysts started piecing it together: encrypted chats, cash apps, delivery routes disguised through rideshare and courier services. The scale was chilling. The Sinaloa cartel wasn't just operating from afar. They were here, in person, running New England like a regional branch of a billion-dollar company. Then came Operation North Star, a week-long federal crackdown that spanned Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. More than 71 arrests in one sweep, and nearly 171 total tied to the wider network. The mission was clear: strike hard, strike fast, and dismantle the infrastructure that had quietly taken root. When the raids hit, the results stunned even veteran agents. Fentanyl, meth, cocaine, and 22,000 counterfeit pills, each one capable of killing. Agents described basements turned into micro-labs, stash houses operating in the middle of residential neighborhoods, and encrypted phones pinging messages across multiple states. But perhaps most alarming wasn't just the drugs, it was the method. Cartels have evolved. No longer relying on street dealers in shady corners, they've turned smartphones into portable drug markets. Through social media apps, encrypted messages, and online payments, kids could order what they thought were harmless pills, study aids, pain relievers, or anxiety meds. But many of those pills were laced with fentanyl or methamphetamine, and one mistake could be fatal. A DEA agent put it bluntly: even trained professionals can't tell a real Adderall or oxycodone from a counterfeit one. After 20 years in this job, he said, I still can't spot the difference with my eyes. Behind those perfect imitations lies a deadly secret. According to DEA lab tests, 5 out of 10 counterfeit pills seized in this operation contained more than 2 milligrams of fentanyl, enough to kill the average adult. Think about that. A single fake pill, indistinguishable from medicine in your cabinet, could end a life instantly. And it's not random. The timing was deliberate. Just as schools and colleges reopened, cartel suppliers began pushing study pills, fake Adderall designed to look legitimate, but laced with lethal chemicals. It was targeted, calculated, ruthless. Agents traced many of these batches back to Lawrence, Massachusetts, a quiet city north of Boston that became the cartel's New England hub. Its location made it perfect for distribution, close to major highways, connected to multiple states, and far enough from the border to draw less suspicion. From Lawrence, the cartel shipped products through Connecticut and New Hampshire, flooding communities that never expected a cartel presence. In Connecticut alone, 64 arrests were made. In New Hampshire, 33, including one major bust in the small city of Franklin. Each arrest revealed more layers of a network that had grown in the shadows. Drivers, money couriers, stash managers, and digital recruiters working like clockwork. The sophistication stunned investigators. This wasn't a ragtag street operation. This was logistics, marketing, and digital innovation, all powered by greed. The DEA displayed photos of brightly colored fentanyl tablets and packages stamped with branding, literal logos of the Sinaloa cartel, mocking the idea of secrecy. These traffickers weren't hiding anymore. They were branding their poison. A senior DEA agent summed up their mindset with chilling honesty. To them, overdose deaths are just collateral damage. If someone dies, it doesn't matter. If they survive, maybe they'll come back for more. For the cartel, every tragedy is just another transaction. Every life lost is written off as part of the business plan. But this takedown, this massive, coordinated storm, showed that the U.S. is fighting back. The DEA's operation didn't just disrupt distribution. It exposed how deep the roots go and how global this network truly is. The chemicals used to create synthetic drugs like fentanyl and meth don't originate in Mexico. They come from China, shipped to cartel labs where they're refined and mass-produced before being smuggled across the border. From there, the drugs spread across every corner of the U.S., reaching all 50 states and more than 40 countries worldwide. Cartels today operate like multinational corporations. They have supply chains, distribution hubs, financial systems, and digital customer outreach, all hidden behind a web of technology and fear. That's why the DEA coordinated internationally for this crackdown. Offices in 69 countries shared intelligence to help cut off suppliers and freeze financial flows. It wasn't just about one region. It was a global chess move in a much larger war. And the timing couldn't have been more urgent. According to the CDC, drug overdoses are now the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. That statistic alone underscores the scale of the crisis. The 22,000 counterfeit pills seized during this operation likely saved thousands of lives. Lives that might have been lost in dorm rooms, parking lots, or quiet suburban homes. But even as the headlines fade, agents are warning, this fight is far from over. The Sinaloa cartel doesn't disappear overnight. It adapts, it learns, it rebuilds. For every major bust, there's another cell waiting to fill the void. That's why officials are calling this a victory and a warning. Yes, New England is safer today than it was last month, but the very fact that a cartel could infiltrate these states so deeply means no community is off limits anymore. Cartels are exploiting transportation systems, digital platforms, and gig economy apps to move products faster and more quietly than ever. They use ordinary delivery cars, rental vehicles, and even food couriers to transport drugs that look harmless, but are deadly. And they're not stopping. Agent Jared Forget of the DEA put it best. This is an ongoing battle. These arrests are a disruption, but the cartel is already adapting. Their operations have shifted from back alley deals to phone screens. Their weapons are no longer just guns and cash. They're algorithms, fake profiles, and digital anonymity. So what can ordinary people do? First, awareness. Talk to your kids. Teach them that a pill from Snapchat or TikTok isn't safe, no matter how official it looks. Second, vigilance. If you see sudden spikes in overdoses or strange deliveries in your community, speak up. And third, support law enforcement. Operations like this require coordination, funding, and intelligence sharing on a massive scale. This takedown in Boston's backyard is more than a drug bust. It's a message. The cartels aren't just a border problem anymore. They're a national threat, embedding themselves into the digital and physical fabric of American life. But every seizure, every arrest, every pound of fentanyl taken off the street means fewer funerals, fewer parents grieving, fewer communities destroyed. In total, this operation, spanning multiple states and hundreds of agents, dealt a staggering blow to the cartel's regional empire. More than 500 pounds of drugs, worth millions, removed from circulation. 71 major arrests executed with precision, and countless lives potentially saved. The DEA called it a major disruption. For the families whose loved ones will never unknowingly swallow a deadly counterfeit pill, it's much more than that. It's hope. Still, the storm isn't over. The cartel will adapt, evolve, and try again. But this operation proved something powerful. When local, state, and federal forces unite, even the world's most ruthless criminal network can be shaken to its core. Because in this fight, every life saved is a victory. Every arrest is a statement. And every time agents break through a door in the name of justice, it sends one message loud and clear. The storm is coming for anyone who profits from pain. This was Boston's wake-up call, a reminder that the battle against the cartels isn't fought in faraway deserts or border towns. It's happening here, in our neighborhoods, our schools, and our streets. And thanks to the relentless efforts of those who refuse to look away, America just proved, even in the darkest corners, justice still fights back. If you found this story powerful, hit subscribe, share it forward, and stay tuned. Because the fight against the world's deadliest cartels is far from over. Every story matters, and every view helps keep the truth alive.